Okay, welcome to session 1 of the One Ring Strider mode. I'll be honest with you. I've been a little nervous to start this, just because I spend a lot of time with this material, but the idea of sending it out into the world, not fully positive of every pronunciation, every little detail that I know of the maps. And it took me a second to talk myself out of that sort of mindset. I love Tolkien's work. I love Middle Earth. I don't need to know everything. I just need to know the mechanics and know how to have fun. So, we're going to start it off. We are using our character that we created. What would that have been? An episode ago. Varen, son of Halfgrim, who is a 31-year-old barding. I did decide on a patron. We're going to do Círdan, the shipwright. And just having knowledge of, as a barding, of the Eastern lands. I've been kind of thinking, like, it would make sense that I'm familiar with Erebor and that region, and I know King Dane and Círdan are in communications, and emissaries and envoys are kind of sent along this, like, eastern, like, the Great East Road. Círdan does have a residence in Mithlond, the Grey Havens, and he uses his emissary, Galdor, to kind of, like, get messages across the lands. So I've kind of formulated a general plan, and I'm going to work my way through Círdan's quests, essentially. His patron quests, and I've decided we're going to start with number 1. Supplies wane as the enemy draws near. What vital resources for the building of ships must you deliver? And I had the idea that Varen, used to traveling alone and traveling great distances. This shouldn't be that hard, but I had the idea of maybe our haven being Bree. And so let's say we're going to start in Bree, and we're going to work our way sort of up to Anuminas by Lake Evendim, or Nenuiel, which is how it's labeled here, and essentially speak with anyone existing, like, in the hills of Evendim about, kind of thinking maybe the coniferous trees that are found there are of a certain quality that would be perfect for building ships. And so just trying to arrange some sort of connection with Galdor and these people, running as, like, the middleman, kind of, in order to work something out with them where they could send lumber to the Grey Havens to build ships. And so we have a journey log here. So we're going to say journey from Bree to, what is it? Is it 2 ends? Yeah. Numinas. We'll say hills of Evendim. Okay. Days of travel. This is, because this is the whole map of Middle Earth, these hexes are quite tiny. So this is nice having this. That way I have a larger visual representation. But let's say we've got 1. So yeah, 1, 2. Well, actually, we'd have to go over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I think it's 13 days. And I will go back in and really take a peek at this. Because the colors are so like rich and earthy, it's kind of hard to see these hexes. I don't even know if it'll come across. I'll use some dynamic zooming or something if I have to. But I'll go back and make sure it is 13 days. But I would imagine this journey, adventure sort of thing is going to take more than one video, so I can do that. I can do that after we're done. Anyways, let's start it off. So we're working through this together. I've never played Strider mode, and so this is a raw, uncut version. But I've got a couple things here that might help. So I would say we could start. It's spring in the year 2965. I just went kind of right when the book tells you to start. Journeying from Bree to Anumanos, Hills of Evendim, 13 days. And we can make a little note here of, I think this should be good. We'll say Bree's down here. Awesome. And we should have, as long as we can get there. Let me just take a peek at this. Okay, so it is 13. I was right. And the first leg, I would say, is getting to Fornost. We could try to cut through some of the wildland, but I think taking the Greenway, this north and south road here, would probably be better. I feel like if I know that there is some trouble along the Greenway, but I feel like it exists and it's just got to be an easier path to follow. You do kind of touch some Darklands up around like the North Downs sort of Fornost area, and actually just heading east from there. But we could follow the river. This is the Brandywine River. We could follow the Brandywine River west to the lake, to the mouth of it, once we get to Fornost. And it does look like there may be some semblance of a road through the southwestern corner of the North Downs. I just feel like this would be our best bet. So let's start it off. Handy dandy cheat sheet. Journey sequence. If a company is undertaking a very long journey, more than 20 hexes, the lore master should split the itinerary into a number of legs to be considered as separate journeys. I kind of feel like maybe just for this first video, Fornost being leg number 1, set the journey path, make marching rolls, and ending the journey. Rolls don't matter for us, like ROLES, because we're covering them all. So we make a marching test. And Kierden's patron ability is the Shipwright's Foresight, which allows us to spend one of our 3, or not one, but a fellowship point, of which we have 3, to re-roll or to retry, like reattempt any one roll. So keep that in mind. I'm going to try not to forget. Anyways, let's see what we got here. So for this, what do we do here? Events take place in specific spots along the journey path of the company. To determine exactly where the guide of the company must make a marching test, rolling travel. Oh, to determine exactly where the guide of the company must make a marching test, rolling travel. Okay. So our travel skill is a 2, which means we get to roll 2 success die on top of our feat die. And we have to beat a 13 in order for it to be considered successful. So we'll do that, and then we'll figure it out from there. So we've got, oh god, I don't think that's going to happen. A 3, so a 4, that's a 10. That is not successful. If the travel was successful, the event takes place at a distance of 3 hexes plus 1 for each success icon. That does not apply to us. So if the travel roll was a failure, the event occurs 2 hexes away along the journey path in summer and spring. That does apply to us. If it was winter, 1 away. So let's move this over, and we can say, what's our route here? Bree. So we would go from Bree up 1, and then, yeah, up another. And we're going to say the event, we'll do a nice little exclamation point. The event happens 2 hexes into the journey. Here is where this comes in handy. So we've got some tables here. We're going to figure out what our journey event is. So let's flip to that page. Do 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 do. Okay. Solo journey events. All right. Let's see here. So, solo journey events. If we're within a borderland, which we are not, it would be favored. If we were in a dark land, which we are not, it would be ill-favored. So you would lose a die. Or no, you would roll like advantage. We're in a wild land, so we're getting the 1 feat die as is. And we need to roll on that feat die to determine what our solo journey event is. Okay. I'm going to get these out of here real quick. We'll grab them as we need them. Put them over here. Awesome. Okay. Let's figure this out. So we got a 9. A shortcut. Reduce the length of the journey by 1 day. See, that's what I'm confused about. Reduce the length of the journey by 1 day. So we would get there in 12. So what does that mean? You get an extra hex almost? At some point along the journey. Shortcut. Okay, so now we can narrow it down with an event detail and figure out what exactly our shortcut was. Oh, and that would also be shortcut. So we do get 1 fatigue points for that. Yeah, if you succeed, you reduce the length of the journey by 1 day. So we're going to roll here a success die to figure out what the event actually was. A 1. Game trail, okay. Hunting to traverse the path. Oh, cool. So we may have found like a pretty well-worn game trail that let us slip off of the greenway for a moment and get around maybe some like curves in the road and shorten our distance. But it's spring. It's a spring day. It's beautiful. We're 2 days in, and I mean, this is pretty serendipitous right off the bat. So, what do we need? That was a hunting roll. What's our hunting? Oh, I want to make a note of the events real quick. This little thing has a target. We can leave that blank. Event was a shortcut. And then we'll say game trail. Awesome. And now let's roll for that. Our hunting is a 2, and we have to beat a strength target number of 13. Okay. So we got to gain a fatigue no matter what. But I think if we fail, what happens? I don't think it matters. I don't think there's a negative to failing. I think you just don't reduce the length of the journey. All right, so we've got our 2 success die and our fate die. We've got a 9, a 2, and a 3. That's a 14, baby. Nice. Cool. Hell yeah. So we did end up successful on that. Awesome. So we're able to, as we're traveling, clear sky, and maybe we can see like a couple of deer off to the side, and just by sort of just having traveled, knowing how to hunt, they disappear as you get Varen gets closer, and he notices as he pushes some brush aside that there is, just on the other side of it, like a short distance into the foliage, there's just like a well-worn game trail, and these deer and other animals have sort of like provided a perfect shortcut straight through, maybe like between some like little hill rocky outcroppings, and we're able to shorten the journey by a day. So let us make that to 12. So that has to mean that we end up at a... Right? Wouldn't that mean that you just end up at the next hex? Okay. All right. I can't imagine what else that would mean. All right. So let's get back to it. We need to start another journey, or a marching test, at least to get to Fornost. So what are we in? I want to make a little note actually where Fornost would be. So we're one up. Oh no, we would be going straight up. Awesome. Yeah, we got that corrected. So we're here. Fornost be? Fornost is like what, 2 days away? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Where's that? 1, 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. Okay, so yeah, it is. It's like right here. Yeah, this is Fornost. I don't think I gave myself enough room here. And I'm going to rewrite that, because that looks like dog shit. Awesome. Okay. So let's go ahead and see if we can accomplish this goal. So we've got a travel roll, which requires 1 fate die, 2 success die. Oh, buddy, that is a failure. Okay. We could... Oh, so this event would be happening. That's a 7. That's a 9. That's a definite fail. Oh, yeah, we need to add a fatigue. I'm not going to add fatigue on here just because I would rather just add it on my character sheet. So I'm going to add a fatigue here. Awesome. And now we have an event that's happening. Oh shit, are we in a... Yeah, we're going to be in a dark land by then. So does that mean our rolls... Is that just journey rolls? No, I don't think it is. This is an event resolution. Oh, okay. If the event takes place as hex. Okay, so yeah, I think it is. I think we're going to be in a dark land, so I think when this happens, we're going to be making a ill-favored die roll. And that's for event resolution. Which would be... Let me look through here just to make sure. Just want to make sure I got this right. And I feel like they'll have something about it. Ill fortune, action resolution. This is action resolution. I need solo journeys. Is that the page I was literally just on? Journeys, journey rules. Oh, so rolling on the events table, it affects this, the journey events. So yeah, I would be rolling ill-favored, which means I'm going to roll the feat die twice and take the... Or am I rolling it all? I think I'm rolling the whole set of it twice at disadvantage. So we got to take the worst result. So the first one is a... What is that? 3, 8, 10. Okay. Would have been tight. No, I'm just rolling a feat die. Okay, my bad on that. I'm rolling a feat die twice, so that was a 5. And that is an Eye of Sauron. Cool, that will be what we're taking. If your roll fails, you are wounded. Oh, damn. Okay. Terrible misfortune. Let's see here. We've got our success die. Come on. If the roll fails, the target is wounded. Okay, please. A 2. Is a rival predator. Oh shit. Okay. So maybe it's like a large wolf. Yeah. Large predator. Shit. Okay. So does the event resolution actually, like, completing it though doesn't... Hunting to avoid becoming the hunted. Oh man, that's a hunting check again. So we have 2 points in that. Why didn't I not make that favored? Okay, so we got to roll to be a 13. Come on. I might use a fellowship point to reroll this, to be honest. Definitely going to use a fellowship point. Okay, that's 7. Right. We're going to check off our fellowship point. So I'm just going to write 2 next to that because that's what we actually have. And that's our cap. Yeah, I would have maybe like divided these in half if I did this. Or like put a little other square compartment in it to tell you your maximum. Alright, so we're definitely going to redo that. Oh my god. Okay. They got wounded. Shoot. We are... I should have spent... Damn it. I think... So I was going to do... Since we are playing Strider mode, we have... we're considered inspired on our... whatchamacallits, our skill rolls, which means you can use a point of hope where you would typically get 1 bonus success die, you would get an extra for using a point of hope. So I think because I didn't remember that and because this is my first go around, we're gonna call it, or should I just use another fellowship point? No. Okay, I'm going to give myself a little bit of slack here. So yeah, re-rolling that, I am going to use a point of hope to gain the extra 2D on this. So yeah, so we're going to add in this many, and we got to beat a 13. If we don't beat it with this, we're an idiot. Okay, so we did get... Holy shit, dude. We got 3 successes? What? Okay. So we got a 4... What? That's 18. That's 20. That's 22. Okay, so we crushed it. Let's see here. We've got... Terrible misfortune. Please don't label me a cheater in the comments. I'm just learning. I'm new. I don't know what to do. Okay, so we got that. Rival Predator. We are not going to become wounded, but when you resolve things and you have special successes, you do get to use... Spend 1 success to gain build advantage. So we could do 2. Okay, so here we have options. Gain insight, go quietly. Make haste. Yeah, I mean, really, we only need... I was just going to say we only need one thing. Because we don't really need insight. A roll of stealth. You know what? You gain additional information not necessarily related to the task at hand. For example, while helping a sick individual with a healing roll, you discover the trace of the poison, or you spot a sentry while sneaking into a ruin with a roll of stealth. So gain insight. So our hunting roll allowed us to spot the predator. Maybe like a wolf sort of like tracking us along our flank, up in the hills, and got its eye on us. And we're able to spot it. And I'm going to spend 1 of those successes to achieve my goal noiselessly or without otherwise attracting attention. So we're able to we did succeed on the roll, so obviously we avoided it. But I kind of want to add a little pizzazz to this. So I'm gonna say we were able to like dip away from it, just like kind of dip out of sight and lose it. And I want to build advantage towards my next hunting roll. So you carry forward your success to improve your position or confidence for a related task. Gain 1d on your next skill roll. So I do want to use that on my next, let's see. So success. Where could I put it? So we get in here. I think that's where it would be. Oh no, would it be up and over? No, it would be there. We're good. Yeah, we're good. For following the green way, this is where we would be. So I'll put that in. Let it be known we had a event there, being stalked by a larger predator. Okay. And then I gotta figure out somewhere I need to gain 1 die. Let's just put it here. Plus 1d on next hunting roll. Okay, so let's see here. I want to ask the telling table something very quickly. All right. So, or the lore table, I mean. Well, actually, no. Let's ask the telling table. Fornost, having been, abandoned and in ruins, might be the perfect place for some unsavory creatures or would-be waylayers. So I want to ask the telling table and see if we spot anyone or if the area where we're planning on making camp is currently occupied. And I'm not sure this is how this technically works, but I feel like this would be the only way. Yeah, would this technically be considered like the adventure phase? Right, I think so. Because other than that, it's pretty much just like a hex crawl simulator, which is still hella fun, but I kind of want to dive a little deeper. So we're gonna ask the telling table, and I'm gonna say it's middling, but what you want to do technically is ask your question with yes being the positive outcome, which is not how I was about to do it. So let's say it's middling, and I want to ask, is the area where we camped currently safe? Like, did we scope it out and ascertain that there's no one in sight that we might have to worry about? So middling, 6 or greater. That would be a 7. Okay, cool. And just for a little more detail, I want to roll on the lore table just to get some use out of it and get just kind of a description of where we are, or maybe an aspect about it. So I'm gonna roll a feat die, and then we'll roll on the aspect column. And I have Sauron. Okay. This will probably make perfect sense then. So we're gonna roll on our feat die for the aspect table, and I don't know if you can even see this. Might be too far down, but Got the aspect table here. We can roll our feat die, or our success die. 1. Corrupted. Okay. So we're in the ruins. Maybe we are encountering, like, we don't visibly, Varen doesn't see visibly anyone in the area, but he gets this sensation of there being, like, a lot of loss and a lot of just pain and suffering in this area, and you can tell by the crumbling facades of buildings, half buried in these sort of like growing rolling hills of the North Downs. And it's instead of being honored by the passage of time and the reclamation by nature, it has been corrupted. You can tell that violence has continued to sort of exist here, even after the fall. And Varen, he finds that quite troubling. It does take him a while to find rest, but with the weather of early spring, sort of, in the warm glow of a campfire, he's able to shut his eyes and find sleep, without stirring too much over the course of the night. And he wakes up the next morning. It's pretty brisk, but the sun is starting to shine. It's not overly cloudy, and he packs up his camp, collects his things, and sort of stares off into the distance to gauge his path to the west on his way to Anumnas and Lake Evendom. And I think that's where we're going to end this one. I don't want to tackle too much. Plus, I want to, before we get too far into this journey that I have laid out, I want to make sure that I'm doing what I need to be doing. And just kind of go back over sort of like the procedural mechanics and make sure that everything is working as intended and I'm not missing something glaringly obvious. But yeah, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. Now that I've kind of ripped the Band-Aid off, I am itching to get back to this. A little less intimidated. You know how it is. There's Tolkien's work and Middle-earth as a whole, Lord of the Rings and all that. There is it's a very protective community, as it should be. So I just don't want to do anyone dirty, and show respect to the work. But anyways, enough rambling. I will see you next time. Bye.